earlier. We can take a look at some of those storm reports there, kind of back there northwest of Peoria and whatnot. And so those were earlier tonight. So right now, concern is with kind of two areas. There's going to be one up here into Livingston County, just kind of south of Odell, and then that'll cross over 47, and then embedded in here, which just looks to be kind of a mess of storms, is also that potential for a tornado in extreme northern portions there of Ford County. We've been watching there from Kempton, and then we've been keeping a close eye on that storm as it comes into Iroquois County too. So I know there may be many of you that tuning in here, early this morning, kind of wondering, okay, what do we got going on here? And this is kind of what we're dealing with here on this very early Monday morning, coming to you here from the WCA3 studios, as is always the case here, folks. When there's severe weather, we do our best to kind of let you know about it, and that's kind of what we're doing here tonight. Despite the time of the day, we're always here to kind of tell you what's going on. So that's what we've got here tonight, folks. Tornado warning in effect. Extreme northern, just kind of a sliver there of Ford County. Much larger severe thunderstorm warning that is in effect for parts of Iroquois County there. But embedded in this circulation, sometimes we can get embedded in this rain is sometimes a circulation. And that is kind of the concern here at 1:12 a.m. as we come to you live, tracking these storms. Now, for the rest of you going, okay, what about Champaign or Danville? Or, there's nothing going. This is an extreme northern kind of part of our viewing area that is mainly being impacted by this. But wow, an incredible amount of rain. I'm just going to show you a 3-hour loop, and you can see that storm just moving really slow. And so, that takes us back to, 10, 12 p.m. earlier. And then we'll just do it over the last hour. Look how little the storm really has moved in the last hour, just dumping that rain to northern portions of Livingston County. Dumping the rain up there into northern portions of Ford County too, and now moving into Iroquois County. So tornado warnings continuing here, folks. If you are, basically, if you're in Sibley and Roberts, Buckley, not a whole lot going on. Got a little storm that just kind of popped up there northeast of Onarga, Ashcombe, Clifton. You guys are in that severe thunderstorm warning, and then just an incredible amount of heavy rainfall associated with this storm. And then, what we look for is every once in a while, the storms get one of these little we call little appendages. And, sometimes that's where that rotation is. So that thing's going to be sitting almost kind of right on I-55, where that rotation is, probably just southeast of Odell. And again, a pretty good chance that there might be even a couple of circulations that are in that area there into Livingston County and heading into Ford County. So we're looking at, again, a couple different things. The rotation is right there between Odell and Pontiac. And yeah, it does look like what happens is you get kind of one area of rotation, then it hands off to the next area of rotation. Good news is it does look like the northern portion of Ford County, that warning there, I think they're going to allow to expire as the rotation is weakened. I just want to go back just a little bit, or what we can do is we can just kind of take it and look at, kind of possibly what it looked like a little bit earlier. And so the first initial warning that came out was back here for the tornado warning, and that kind of moved through Kempton, and I bet you guys probably got some good winds down there. But we have to watch these as they kind of see the handoff there. Danforth, I'd be watching. Okay, you're technically not in that warning here, but these things have kind of evolved pretty quickly here. They'll go from there's not a lot going on to all of a sudden, boom, there's a nice storm. Okay. So again, we're with you here this morning. My name is Kevin Leidy. I'm the chief meteorologist here at WCIA. 1:15 a.m. as we track severe weather for you tonight. Noisy for some of you. Others are going, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't have any storms. But some of you are going, whoa, this is quite the storm. So we wanted our folks that are watching us in Ford, in Iroquois, Livingston County to know what's going on. We wanted to be able to jump on here and kind of tell you. And that's what you're looking at here on your screen is that current tornado warning and also the severe thunderstorm warnings that are in effect. Good news is it does look like they just now finally dropped that tornado warning there for northern Ford County, but still in effect here for Livingston County. And we're gonna hang with this here just a little bit. So I know we're watching. Some of you are tuned in here on our social media channels, and what is always the usual case is everybody will start asking, "What about my city? My city? My city? My city? My city?" And fill in the blank with your city. And what I always like to say is, if I'm not talking about your city, then chances are you're probably in a lot better shape. But I'll just show you the wide map because it is kind of, well, uneventful for 95% of our viewing area, right? Clearly nothing anywhere else. Vermilion County, Champaign County, Decatur, Effingham, Springfield. This is a far northern Ford, Iroquois County event right now, but we are watching these storms. Okay, these are essentially kind of diving to the south and east. So here we go, and look at that little cell that did just kind of pop up there and got a little stronger from Crescent City to Woodworth. Okay, so that's a pretty little storm right there. That even just a couple minutes ago. So here, what we'll do is take you back. There was nothing there. And all of a sudden, boom, that thing really kind of exploded over the Crescent City and Woodworth area. So no warning for that just yet, but that just shows you the nature of how quickly these storms can, kind of go from nothing to something. I mean, look at that. I mean, you were essentially looking at just a couple of little specks right there, right? So that was at, 12:58 a.m. by 1:01 a.m. And then to where we are now, you can see just how much stronger that storm got, 10, 15 minutes. So that storm there, packing a punch, might have to, get upgraded to a warning of some kind. But boy, there is a lot of heavy rain if you're watching up here into Iroquois County, Clifton, Ashcombe, up here to Kempton. Just had that storm come through again. Still looking at the storm into Livingston County. That has been kind of cycling, and you'll get some rotation, and then that storm will weaken a little bit. And we're hoping that continues to be the case. So that rotation is going to be crossing over 47 near Sonneman, probably just north of that here in the next few minutes is where that latest kind of area of rotation was. So tornado warning continuing here into Livingston County. We'll pop in here and talk about what's going on with the Weather Service in Chicago, who is in charge of issuing these warnings. It says they received a report of a large downed tree in the St. Anne area. So we are getting some strong winds there. That was up there in Kankakee County. As you get some really strong winds, that can occur. But severe thunderstorm warning, if you're watching us there in Clifton and Ashcombe, we'll just kind of come over and kind of show you, there's Watseka. I mean, that storm there is definitely kind of picked up, heading towards Watseka, Woodland area, Woodworth. Might have a little hail in that. So that's going to be just south of Crescent City. And then maybe heading towards the Watseka and Woodland area. I know some of you, again, have tuned in here onto our live stream. If you are watching us here. Again, my name is Kevin Lighty. I'm the chief meteorologist here at WCIA. Want to come on and inform you guys. You've kind of grown to know that we're always going to be here when there's severe weather, no matter what time of the night. And so we're here with you because I know it can be scary. You wake up in the middle of the night and you're like, what is going on? It sounds like the house is about to, get blown away. So we want to be here to reassure you that, hopefully that is not going to happen, right? So you're going to hear a lot of thunder. You're going to see a lot of lightning. These storms are packing a ton of lightning with them. And we can show it to you. Wow, just look at that one storm there. Okay, so there's the warning. I knew that was probably going to come for the rest of Iroquois County because of that. So they just popped a severe thunderstorm warning there. So that's Watseka and down to Woodworth, okay? So if you're in Watseka, Woodland, Sheldon, Milford, you're technically in the warning too, but the more immediate concern is obviously going to be there between Watseka, Woodworth, Woodland areas. Strong storm, might have some strong winds within that. So you've got that little area there. We still have the warning there from Ashcombe, Clifton, and then that tornado warning that is still in effect here back into Livingston County and near the Sonneman area. Okay. So that's kind of what we're looking at here right now. I know some of you, again, as I mentioned, we are streaming on all of our platforms. So what you can do is you can go to our weather app, okay, on your phone. If you don't have it, download the WCA3 weather app, okay? And if you want to be able to watch the stream, I know some of you are watching on TV right now. Some of you may have to go to your tornado safe spot. If you pull up the app, you can scroll down and you'll get to live stream and you can watch us there, or you can pull us up on Facebook. We are streaming on Facebook. Let me just double check. Yep, we are streaming on the news page, on my personal meteorologist Kevin Lighty page, and on Jacob's page as well. So you can go on there and watch this same live stream on your phone if you need to go to your tornado safe spot, which obviously we encourage those to do that are up there into parts of Livingston County, just basically east of Pontiac is where that potential tornado is located there. We'll see if they allow that to expire. Okay. We'll see if that can expire. If that can expire, then we can kind of be done with that. But the severe thunderstorm warning continues here, and again, one of the stronger storms that we've seen has been this one here that just kind of kicked up here in just the last little bit from Crescent City down to Woodworth. And so as that one has ramped up a little bit, then now we're looking at that area of concern. So I know, somebody out there just getting woken up going, what is going on? Well, I'll tell you this, there's probably some pretty good wind moving into Watseka, Woodland area. I think Crescent City probably just had some pretty good wind kind of roll through. Danforth as well. So from Danforth to Crescent City, some stronger winds there as that severe thunderstorm warning continues. I would be kind of watching there from Martinton. There's a little pocket of some winds there. Ashcombe down to Danforth. And we can see that when we look at some of the velocity signatures here. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to switch over to our Chicago radar. And so what that will allow us to do is kind of see, all right, what do we got going on here? More than just that view that you get with the reflectivity. You see all those kind of bright colors. And so basically I just want to look at, so here's those winds I was talking about. See when you get into kind of some of those brighter colors there. So sometimes that can be an indicator of some fairly strong winds. All right. So we're just kind of looking into the storm, and then kind of back here too. We talk about some of the reds and greens. I got to tell you, the new scan there that is near Danforth. It's near Danforth, has me a little concerned. If you're in Danforth, I just as a precaution, I'd take maybe you need to be taking shelter there. There might be some circulation that is kind of going on there just west of Danforth, and we'll see what the Weather Service does if they have to issue another warning for this, but and we'll see it on the updated scan when it comes across. For now, because that did look like the rotation was trying to increase a little bit there near Danforth. You're under a severe thunderstorm warning. I would just kind of treat this as if we might have pretty strong storm there, severe weather. We've had some isolated tornado warnings every now and again, but if you are watching us over there, definitely be paying attention. And between Ashcombe, Danforth, I just kind of want to watch this. I'm going to wait for the next radar scan to come across. But just kind of from what I'm seeing there, that has me a little concerned. So folks there in Danforth, quite a bit of lightning, obviously, with the storm. We kind of mentioned that. I mean, just wow, just look at that. That is constant lightning. Matter of fact, we can count up the lightning strikes here with these storms. You are not going to believe this number. The number of lightning strikes here, and just in that kind of red box that I drew, 1,876 lightning strikes. That is an outrageous amount of lightning. That is an indicator of obviously some really strong storms. All right, folks, coming back here, just watching this carefully. Once again, I think our storm here that is right near Danforth is trying to take on a little bit of a interesting kind of structure to it, and we'll see what the Weather Service does, if they need to kind of upgrade this or not. Yep, there it is. Tornado warning there, Danforth. I knew it. I could see it on radar there. And all right, if you are Danforth to Crescent City, I was saying take shelter. I just think there's something there, and I think it's kind of sitting right there over Danforth. If you're in Danforth, take shelter right now. If you're in Crescent City, Watseka, you're watching us here, folks, take shelter. There is that potential tornado right over Danforth right now. If you are watching us, if you can hear my voice, if you're in Danforth, Crescent City, you need to be in your tornado safe spot. You've got to go right now, folks. That thing is sitting on top of you. Okay, some really strong indicators of a tornado here over Danforth. We want you guys to be aware of what's going on. Again, 1:29 a.m. We are live. We're here with you. We're letting you know what's going on. We're streaming. If you need to take your phone, your iPad to your tornado safe spot, lowest level of your home, center part of your house, Danforth, go now. Crescent City, you're kind of next there. Watseka, you're also kind of in line down the line there. These storms are moving fairly slow, but I'm seeing some pretty good indicators of a tornado circulation right over Danforth. You're looking at it right there. See where those reds and greens come together? That's the concern. Get to your tornado safe spot. It is right over Danforth and just barely kind of crawling here to the southeast. It's now moving about 30 miles an hour. Sometimes these kind of slow down a little bit, but right there is circulation right over Danforth concern for a tornado that could be coming right there into town right now, folks. We're here with you. We're letting you know what's going on. Your phones are probably going off if you are up in Iroquois County. Fortunately, we're able to be here with you to kind of let you know what's going on as a potential tornado right over Danforth, folks. Get to your tornado safe spot, lowest level of your home, center part of your house. Put as many walls between you and the outside as possible. You got to do it, okay? I know it's the middle of the night. It's 1:30 in the morning. You're going, do I need to wake up the kids? I would, just given we've had some confirmation of tornadoes earlier in a few spots. So yes, we mentioned Danforth there several times, but now Crescent City. I want you guys also. I obviously middle of the night. You're going to, is this the real deal? We can't ever fully say for sure, but that storm has shown signs of increased rotation. Okay. And so you need to go to your tornado safe spot. We're here with you. We're going to talk you through it. We're going to get you through the storm. We want to tell you who is most at risk, and it's anybody there in the tornado warning polygon from Danforth down to the Crescent City area. Okay. So tornado warning continues. I'm just kind of getting an update. Okay. Update here on our warnings. Still, we also have that warning that is in effect for northern Ford County. So we've got two areas of rotation. So there's a second one that's kind of back here, and it's going to be right on the Livingston and the Ford County line. So near Cullum to Kempton, you're under that tornado warning. So there's Kempton. Cullum, if you're familiar there, Highway 115 and 116, that is the area I would be concerned about. Okay. So two areas of rotation. We're going to watch that one coming into the kind of the panhandle there, tip of far northern Ford County. But right now it is Danforth and even Gilman. You guys are right on the edge there of this tornado warning. Crescent City. If you're watching us right now in Crescent City, get to your tornado safe spot, lowest level of your home. Okay, folks? We're kind of doing our thing here. This is what we do. 1:33 a.m. Tornado warning in effect right now. You've got Danforth, the Crescent City, and Watseka. Your phones are going off, right? The thing's going off. It's sounding. You're jumping up, wondering what's going on. Well, we've got a pretty serious situation here from Danforth down to Crescent City, where it does look like the rotation is continuing here, and we could have a tornado. We also have that into Ford County. Like I said, Kempton, your phones probably are going off because of this potential tornado. So two areas here, and I got to tell you, there's the lightning is just constant with this, and the rain, and that could lead to some flooding. So that's what we're looking at. Just to show all of our folks that are watching, there's nothing going on in Decatur, Champaign, Danville. Pick the city there. If it's not in Ford, Iroquois, or Livingston County, you're not being impacted right now. Period. End of story. If you're in Livingston, Ford, in Iroquois County, this is for you. Sirens might be going off. I'm seeing sirens probably going off in Watseka, Iroquois County. Concern here for a tornado. Crescent City, you might be next. Ashcombe, you probably just had some really good winds come through. Watseka, also. Rotation within our storm here. Even get some indicators, maybe a little bit of hail in here. So the tornado warning is still in effect. We want you folks to just be in your tornado safe spot, hang out there, and then we'll be kind of talking you through what to expect here through the overnight hours. These storms moving to the southeast about 30 miles an hour. And they've been kind of erratic. And what I mean by that is, these have kind of formed, and all of a sudden you'll have a circulation, then a new one will form. And so sometimes they don't last long, and then all of a sudden another circulation begins to form. So that's over the last 45 minutes. You can see those storms there moving to the southeast. So here's the other area of rotation now coming in. We talked about Kempton. There's Cullum, and right there on the county line, 115 and 116. Going to be just north of Pella. So two areas that we're monitoring for you. Extreme northern Ford County, southeastern Livingston County, and now this Danforth to Crescent City to Watseka area. Come back over to velocity again, and you can really see some of the strong winds here. Even if you don't have a tornado, like all of this kind of brighter pink color, these are some strong winds. Okay. So there's 45 and 57. Rotation still here. It's going to be now kind of east of Danforth and right there coming towards Crescent City. So between Danforth and Crescent City, here's your rotation. 2200 north. Here's US 24 down here. We can zoom in even more. I mean, we are down there. 2100 north, 1100 east, 1000 east, 1900 north. That's kind of the general area of rotation. That rotation is probably on 2200 north. Right about in there. I'm sorry, folks, here. Take a drink of water for a second. Bear with me for a second. When you're in here by yourself at 1:37 in the morning, you gotta just do what you do here. We're just we're flying the ship here, folks, and we're doing it for you so you guys kind of know what's going on. And we've got, again, this tornado warning that is in effect for northern Iroquois County. All right, so there's an updated radar scan. So let's just kind of come back here and look at it. I'm not seeing as clear of a designated area of rotation. A lot of wind, though. So the storm may be kind of, throwing out a lot of its wind now. So Crescent City, Watseka, Pittwood, anywhere those kind of brighter pinks are happening. So becoming a little bit less organized. But I got to tell you, I think this storm that's back here south of Cullum, I'm going to come back over here because I think this one has a little bit better. Yeah, I think that one right there. And so that's going to come in right there. So there's Kempton that's up here. Piper City. Watching this storm as it moves off to the east. So two areas that we've got. Potential tornado, and if nothing else, you've got some really strong winds in this. I mean, you're talking about, maybe some 60, 70 mile an hour winds that we could have. (1:39 a.m.) as severe weather continues. If you're watching us in other parts of the viewing area, you don't have anything, right? Nothing going on in Champaign. Nothing going on in Danville. We're getting reports that sirens are going off in Martinton. We're getting some hail in Kempton. And let me just give a shout out to our people in the chat that are on the stream. We love hearing about your reports. You can always kind of let us know what you're kind of seeing in your area. I'm kind of reading some of that, talking about the sirens, like where the sirens are going off. A lot of wind in Watseka and heavy rainfall. Watseka sirens going off. A storm slowing down in Ashcombe. So again, we read your comments here in real time. So on the chat there, always love to kind of hear what you guys are seeing, because you guys are the eyes of the storm when you're out there like this. Okay. All right. Come back to radar. See what I mean here? It seems like another circulation's trying to form. They don't sustain themselves. So almost like another one's trying to get going down here. It's going to be southeastern. So there's Chatsworth, there's Piper City. So every once in a while, you just look and you go, "Wow, what's that?" And that's what I'm talking about right here. Technically kind of outside of the warning, or right on the edge of the warning. So the Weather Service is doing their best to try to go, all right, is this still something? Is this a new circulation? Has the old one dissipated? Do we have a new one on our hands? And that is kind of the trick, is to see if that's what we've got here. And obviously, if this thing kind of ramps up, it gets a little bit more of a hook, you start to get a little bit more concerned. I got to tell you, our storm here in Iroquois County looks to be a little bit more wind driven, a little bit more of a wind issue. I think there's some really strong winds that probably just went through Watseka. Watseka, man, just looking at the radar signature here. Yeah, there's just some strong winds going through Watseka right now. All right, got a new, let's see here. So a new severe thunderstorm warning. So basically, kind of carrying this all the way through the rest of Iroquois County. Let us know if you're in Watseka, kind of what you're seeing there in terms of your wind. According to radar, there's a lot of wind. Now, again, the radar beam's sitting at about 4,000 feet, but it's showing some pretty strong winds over Watseka right now. So if that storm sort of kind of starts collapsing a little bit, it may have all of that wind kind of come rushing out. If you're in Sheldon, if you're watching in Sheldon, I'd be getting ready to take shelter. That storm's going to be on top of you. Well, you've already got the rain, but you can see the winds, the strong winds are the concern there. Goodness. The new updated scan is showing some really strong winds there aloft. Wow. Shooting at about 4,500 feet, but showing almost some 80-mile-an-hour winds. Now, again, that's not at the surface, but that can get kind of translated down. If you're in Watseka, I'd be curious to know kind of what you've got there. You guys have got some really strong winds there. A lot of heavy rainfall. Getting reports of that. Yeah, definite radar signature that's telling me that this thing is really packing a punch in terms of the wind over Watseka right now and down to Woodland. Danforth, for now, I'll give you an all clear, but there's that other storm back there to the west that we're looking at. Such a kind of a messy situation and storm here with this. But here's the other area of rotation that's now just crossing into Ford County. 1,300, what is that? 2,900, 2,800. Southeast of Cullum. So again, to get kind of understand where we're looking at, so southeast of Cullum, right on 115. Talked about 115 and 116. Just south of that is where that kind of secondary circulation is. But man, look at that. So here's what I was talking about in terms of those winds. And so the radar beam, now remember, when we look at this, severe thunderstorm warning that is in effect. When we kind of look at this here, remember that the radar beam is hitting really high up. So when I show you this, it shows 78 mile an hour winds, but that is kind of higher up in the, I mean, that's, it's almost a mile up, right? So that doesn't always get translated back down to the ground, but eventually it can. So that could be kind of collapsing some of that wind out from Watseka down to Woodland. I think you're really seeing some of those strong winds. So things calming down there in Danforth for now, folks, but we just want to watch that other storm that's kind of back there. Gilman, I'd be paying attention. That secondary storm is kind of coming there southeast of Cullum, north of Piper City. We're watching that, but that is this right here. There's a lot of some really strong winds. Now, if that's making it down to the surface, and we got reports of some gusty winds, I haven't had any official measurements. Just heard about maybe some power being lost in northeastern Watseka. And so, yeah, more power outages coming in as a result of these strong winds. So is there a tornado in there? Not convinced of that. I think now this is turned into a, damaging wind that is moving through Watseka and heading towards Sheldon, just north of Milford right now. But Sheldon, that storm is moving in. You've already got the rain, but some of the winds are kind of tucked in a little bit, further because, excuse me. When you look at the radar, come back to reflectivity, and you see Sheldon, okay, you're already getting the storm. Okay, it's storming in Watseka, but we have to look at the velocities. Look how different the colors are. So when you get into these bright colors like this, these are your strong winds. Over here, yeah, it's raining pretty good and a lot of lightning, but the winds are actually back here. They're along Route 1, okay? Probably right there at 1 and 24 right now and stretching down to Woodland. That's your really strong, could be kind of damaging straight line winds. Could be considered maybe kind of a downburst, downburst with the storm if it kind of collapses and all that air comes rushing down. So while Sheldon, you have not seen the worst of it. And between Watseka and Woodland and along Route 1, that's where some of the strongest winds are. I just want to pop back over here to our, because we still have a tornado warning here. Just kind of tracking this storm, keeping an eye. I actually think this one has a little bit better. Well, it did have a little better rotation on it. So that's going to be north of Piper City, just north of Piper City. So southeast of Cullum, talked about Charlotte. Right along 115. So there's Kempton up there on the top part of your screen. Pella, and then Piper City. So the rotation with this is right here. Right along 115, just south of 116, essentially. And it looks like that just updated, so we'll just kind of move that over right about there. Okay. So there's our update for our Ford County friends. And then that's going to come back into Iroquois County. I mean, there's going to be another storm there. So now we're just going to watch between Arnarga, Danforth. You were in the clear for the first storm, but we'll have to watch that second one kind of behind there. So just hang tight. We'll see if that kind of maintains its rotation. All right. But we're going to be watching this area here as a secondary storm starts to come in. Let's come back here to this, what looks to be just a prolific wind maker. Still seeing some strong winds there, probably near the Woodland area. I'm going to pop back in the chat and see if we're getting any reports from anybody. Winds slowing down in Watseka, being told. But I still think this area right here is still seeing some really strong winds. Okay. So Sheldon, well, you've already had that storm come through. What we've got here are multiple storms ongoing. I mean, I just want to show you again. Look what's going on in 95% of our viewing area. Not much. But you get up here into northern Ford and Iroquois County, that's where the severe weather is. We've had some tornado warnings. There's still, and you can barely see it, there's one little tiny little box here in Ford County where we've still seen some of that rotation just north of Piper City, between Piper City and Kempton. And then over here, while things have calmed down in Danforth, it's rocking and rolling pretty good between Watseka and Sheldon, and starting to bring in some of the winds. And then on top of that, the amount of lightning here is truly remarkable. Now, I'm going to switch this. So we only show lightning strikes over the last 3 minutes. So between these two storms, you can kind of see two distinct storms here. You've kind of got one right here and then the one back here. When we look at how many lightning strikes are present here, this is just over the last 3 minutes. You're looking at 309 lightning strikes over the last 3 minutes. So you can do some quick math there. 180 seconds. You're getting almost little under 2 lightning strikes a second with all that lightning. Indicators of a really strong storm, couple of strong storms. We'll come back to where we have the tornado warning. Try to see if there's still some rotation in there. Switch back to velocity. And there's still a little something right there in the middle. Not super strong. But over here in Danforth, we just had that first storm come through. So I know a lot of people watching here. Thanks for tuning in to our coverage. Severe thunderstorm warning continues with what is known as the tornado possible tag associated with it. It's kind of the step just below a tornado warning. And that's for a good chunk there of Iroquois County and parts of Ford County. Thanks for tuning in. My name is Kevin Leidy. I'm the chief meteorologist here at WCIA. We are live in the studio at 1:54 a.m. And this is what we're doing here, folks. First, we're letting you know what's going on with the storms. There's a lot of you that aren't impacted by this at all, but some of you are. If we're talking about your town, if I mention your town, that's when you need to obviously be a little concerned. If we're not talking about your town, that's always kind of the good rule of thumb. If you don't hear me talking about where you live, chances are you're probably okay. But when I start shouting out your towns, you need to be paying attention. So when we look at things here, and let's just kind of look at it. Currently under warnings, you've got Watseka, Milford, Woodland, Sheldon, Stockland, Woodworth, Crescent City. Things are calming down, but there's other storm. There's another storm right back behind here. We've been talking about this other one. So Ashcombe to Danforth, here comes the next one. Gilman, there's Piper City now getting in on the action a little bit. Roberts, you're technically not in the warning. There's Melvin, Loda, or Buckley. Buckley, technically you are. And just watch the evolution of this storm. So notice it continues to dive south and east, but also continues to grow, especially kind of here on the backside. See how this area here is continuing to kind of just grow just a little bit more of a tail. So these aren't your typical, these storms kind of evolve, and they really go through some different cycles, and they take on different shapes. And as they do that, they will strengthen really fast, and then sometimes they can fall apart. But they change their orientation a lot, and all of a sudden you get a storm here, you get a storm there. But what's interesting is we can actually look at the lightning, and why that is important is we can look at, okay, where are new lightning strikes starting to form where it's not raining? And so obviously, kind of here's one south of Chatsworth, and so you look at that to see, okay, are there additional storms trying to form? And we're seeing some of that, just a lot of lightning. Okay, folks, I'd be curious, some of you that are watching maybe in, Iroquois County and Watseka, tell us about kind of your power situations. Are you dealing with power outages there? I know some of you said that you were, lost some power over there in Watseka. Let us know kind of the extent of that and any wind damage or something that you may have received. Jacob Dickey in the house. Live on TV, live on streaming, live here with the storms that just keep going. Sheldon without power. Yep, so just got the Sheldon power on and off there. So the northeast side of Watseka had a little bit of a power outage, we were told. And we still have, technically this warning is in effect, this tiny little box up here in northern Ford County. The rotation with that is probably still just to the south and east of that. Let's just look at that. We'll come back here. Yeah, so see what I mean? Like, then all of a sudden you get another little, okay, what do we got going on here? And it's like hands off. It's like the quarterback, the running back. It just kind of hands off the ball, and here comes the next running back. And that's where you get the new area of rotation. They don't last long. They seemingly last like 5 or 10 minutes, and then you get a new one that forms. All right, so we'll switch back over here to reflectivity, see what that looks like. So yeah, it doesn't look super impressive there, but it is kind of growing that little tail, and just the interesting orientation of the storms here as they kind of move through and change shape, and getting ready to get hit for a second time there in Danforth as that storm comes in. Gilman, you're going to get on this one a little bit more, probably Onarga. Crescent City, you'll get hit by this second line that's about to move through. Any of these storms here could have a tornado embedded within this huge line.
Good morning, Kevin.
What's going on? Are you there? You with us?
We're here.
We are here. So, folks here that are kind of tuning in, I know you're going, all right, can I go to bed? Can we go to, let's see here. Can we, I don't know if I can adjust the camera there. 2 a.m. It's 2 a.m. Pop over.
2 a.m.
2 a.m. It's 2 a.m. So, you know what's funny? And again, but just quickly here to check. I haven't seen Jacob in weeks because we don't see each other anymore because he doesn't.
I know. I was like, I woke up, I had an alarm go off at 11:30, and I saw what was going on up by Streeter.
Yeah.
And I thought, all right, well, Kevin's still there, so I can get another hour of sleep. Oh, good news. There it is.
The 21
they dropped
dropped
it. 2 a.m. So then I was like, oh, I get to see Kevin. I better hurry up and get in here. 2 a.m.
Yeah, exactly. We haven't seen each other. I can smell your coffee.
I should have texted you and said,
yeah, it's all good.
It's decaf, though, so sorry.
All good. Yeah, well, I don't need to be drinking decaf here. here we go, folks. Good news here. The tornado warnings have all expired. So tornado warnings is not a thing. Now, I don't want to discount. I mean, these storms are still packing a punch here, but hopefully we'll be done, with this here in the next hour as these storms kind of push off into Indiana. This first little wave, again, just kind of going through Sheldon, Stockland. Right now it does. Hoopeston, Northern Vermilion County. We'll see here. It'll be a close call, but this hopefully maybe just kind of slides to your north. And we've got two areas. The thing is, folks, I think that we may do this a few more times over the next few days. Very similar setups. We get these kind of southeasterly moving lines of storms, and some of them coming through during the overnight hours. And similar, maybe some squall lines here, some damaging winds. Could there be a tornado in there? It's definitely a possibility. So that's what we're looking at here. We're still watching these storms here tonight. We've still got severe thunderstorm warnings that are in effect. So this is kind of us just doing our thing here. And we're still with you live, and we'll hang with you just a few more minutes on the TV side of things, since we're kind of doing the whole thing. So I haven't done this in a while. So does Dallas usually just know when? Are they always monitoring, or do we usually have to call them and tell them, when we go off?
I mean,
it's been a while.
Is it just you and I?
It's just me and you. There's nobody else. Yeah.
Did you? So you called Dallas?
I did. Yes.
Okay.
So
well,
Dallas
I can
got
call
us
him and say, "Hey, we went out. We can schedule an out time."
Okay.
If you want to, I'll take care of that.
Well, yeah. I mean, if I'm not foreseeing, these things are kind of lining out a little bit, so it's not looking as impressive. So yeah, maybe tell them 2:10 here. We can stay on until 2:10, and I'm not even sure what airs 2:00 in the morning, but all right, folks. Severe thunderstorm warning still in effect. All right. Getting a lot of questions here, talking about some different areas. And let me just kind of give you a shout out here as to who's kind of in the clear. The problem is this little secondary storm that's back here is still packing a punch. So I can't say Watseka. I can't say anywhere here is kind of in the clear yet, because this next little line is going to. There we go. All right. So from Ashcombe, Danforth, Gilman, Onarga, this next little storm's coming in. Probably got some strong winds in there, but man, little areas of rotate. I tell you, I don't know how much you watched, kind of the radar time, but it's just, it was like, oh, there's an area rotation. There's one, and there's one, and there's one. There were some confirmed tornado reports earlier up there northwest of Peoria. Hopefully we haven't had anything here, but every time I look at the radar, I go, oh, look, there's another area of rotation on that storm.
That time will be 2:10 on the dot.
2:10 on the dot. We will.
That gives us a little buffer time.
Yeah, just in case. We just kind of want to watch here. See this other little area of rotation north of Thawville trying to get going. But this next little round is getting ready to come through. Boy, Dan, I tell you, I bet the rainfall here, it's just been incredible, because you had that first storm come through, now that second one. So parts of 57 and 45 are all going to, be just covered in water. And as I mentioned before, we might have to do this again here in the coming days and nights.
I got a radar estimated now here, just to throw for you, Kevin.
Man, look at that.
And you start seeing those pink colors there, and this is just since windstorm started. So storm total is going to be what, 11 p.m. That swath there of 1 to 2 inches with some 2 to 3 totals plus there north of Pontiac. And look at Pontiac. It's just, Dwight's got 3 inches. Pontiac's got next to nothing essentially here. Hard cutoff there with where that rain is. So these very localized flash flooding totals there. Up by Kempton, Cabry, places like that, getting a couple inches. Ashcombe, couple inches. Onarga dry. Of course, watching the storms come on in there. So quite impressive to see these little cells. Onarga's going to get a drink of rain here in a few minutes, but, down Buckley. Probably going to miss Buckley to the north, not by much. Still could get some of that wind there. So found that to be interesting, Kevin.
Yeah, it's really been a confined area. That's kind of the same area getting hit over and over again, and that's what leads to that flooding. Things calming down in Livingston County for the first time in 3 hours, to be honest with you. I mean, they've had severe thunderstorm warning and tornado warnings, ever since our 10 o'clock newscast. So things are calming down there. So anybody that maybe is watching there in Livingston County, you're okay. We got this first little wave that's now moving out of southeastern Iroquois County. So that first little storm that came through Watseka and Sheldon and now kind of going through Stockland, just barely missing Wellington. And then that goes up in Indiana. But it's this, you can just tell just by looking at the two different storms, one looks healthier than the other in terms of, it's strong here in Indiana, but this right here compared to this right here, obviously the reds, they're indicating that. Gilman, I think you guys have got some strong winds that are just passing through Gilman and Onarga just now, passing into your area. That looks like it's kind of bowing out just a little bit, an indicator of those strong winds. Here's what it looks like on the velocity. And so that storm there coming right across, heavy rainfall, and the amount of lightning is pretty remarkable. Just on that one storm, and these are still keyed up to just 3 minutes. So this is the Gilman Onarga storm, 157 lightning strikes here in just the past 3 minutes.
And I've been looking at the Champaign camera now to see if we'd seen it at lightning, and surprisingly, we haven't. I've not seen a single flash.
Oh, interesting.
Looking north.
Oh, that is interesting.
One thing I noticed coming in, it was very hazy.
Ah, sure.
So, I think that's making the view a little bit.
Yeah, all that moisture and everything out there. I mean, I take it was rather soupy coming in.
Oh, yeah, glass is fogging up. It feels unstable.
Yes.
You can feel it in the air. So,
just
power outage numbers real quick, Kevin. We'll be off in about 2 minutes here. 322 outages in Iroquois County, 328 Livingston County, LaSalle County, over 2,000 outages. Ford County's got 0 outages. Kankakee, 855. I saw my first flash there in the Champaign camera. But there you can see it looking up to the north. You kind of see the haze off of the distance, and that heaviness, those dew point values are up. So that's kind of what we're looking at there. So, Kevin.
Okay. So about 90 seconds here. So those who are watching on TV, we'll keep the stream up here that are watching on Facebook or YouTube or the weather app. We will still kind of keep that up here to track these storms. But policy is we cut into television for the tornado warnings. We have that here, and then we go back to regular coverage, and then we continue the streaming on our different platforms. So we're about a minute away from going back to the regular programming that is on television, but we're still watching you guys there. I know you're going, listen, don't go off the air. It's storming like crazy in Danforth and Gilman and Onarga again. Well, again, there's not a tornado warning, and that's what we kind of cut in for, but we're going to stay on all those platforms. So just kind of hang with us here, and we'll continue to kind of talk you through, because we do have severe thunderstorm warnings. If a tornado warning gets issued, then of course we jump back on. But right now, I know you're going, man, it is going crazy here in Danforth and Gilman and coming into Onarga now. Don't worry, we're going to continue to keep you up to date on this. Jacob is here. I'm here, and we'll be passing the baton before too long. And I go, here you go, Jacob. Take it the rest of the way. But hopefully we'll be done. But again, I think we're going to be doing more of this.
See you again tomorrow night.
See you again tomorrow night. All right, folks, back to regular programming on WCIN, WCIX. Okay, we think we're off TV. Okay, folks, still streaming with you, still hanging here with you, letting you know what's going on in terms of the severe weather.
Okay, I'll call. Oh,
Okay, there we go. Okay, perfect.
I was like watching, like, are we off?
Yeah,
What's going
we're
on
off
here?
the air. Yeah. Okay. All right. So let's make sure.
Now we can say we went in digital.
Yeah,
right?
there you go. Right. Yeah.
Not bound by the rules and regulations. I remember waking up at 11:30 and seeing that circulation north of the street, and I was like, well, I'm gonna get a couple hours more here.
Couple more.
Set my alarm for 1:30, and I was like, if Kevin really needs me, he'll call. But
yeah, again, it's been so interesting. There have been good areas of rotation, but I have not heard of any other confirmed reports, and I'm pretty sure there's been storm chasers out on these storms because they were the ones that were reporting some of the stuff northwest of Peoria earlier. But
Kewaunee and
yeah. But fortunately, I've not seen any big signs of damage. Never saw any debris signatures, but I'm gonna guess there might be tree or power line down here or there.
kind of following back up in Lee County. I know there was a storm. You and I were texting about what 10:30 about that. There's some damage up that way.
So Weather Service talking about hopefully storms trending more towards kind of outflow dominant, which basically means the tornado warnings are probably not going to be happening anymore. But still some really strong winds there in Iroquois County showing up. So this is kind of transitioned out of tornado threat and more into damaging wind threat. So this kind of second wave. I got to tell you, that stuff over in Indiana, that stuff is south of Kentland now. That stuff's pretty strong over there. And there's some people asking about that area. So just kind of show that to you. That's where that is. Out of our area, Fowler, you're about to get hit pretty good. But we're watching the secondary wave that is from Arnarga down to Crescent City.
The interesting thing about the circulations tonight, Kevin, was the deviant motion on them. Storms would be southeast, and they were lifting kind of east and northeast there. So kind of interesting night. I think there's a lot of talk yesterday afternoon. Oh, do we get some storms in a very favorable environment for tornadoes? And it wasn't until 9 o'clock that things started to erupt. And just because the sun goes down doesn't mean the wind shear doesn't disappear. And we kind of expected, I think we were calling for late storms right out of the gate. Here we are with at least some late storms, but largely most of the area looking pretty quiet here. Severe thunderstorm watch doesn't continue for McLean County. Now, McLean County, there's actually not a threat for you. What happens here is it's a kind of an interesting situation. The severe thunderstorm watch goes until 4 a.m. Now, National Weather Service specifically stated they'll keep that McLean County severe thunderstorm watch specifically because what they'll do is, should they need to expand the watch into Champaign and Vermilion counties, having one of their counties in that coverage area allows them to do that. If they cancel the McLean County watch, they're not able to extend that into Champaign and Vermilion County. And that is a very technical wording on that, why they would do that. But, so they're kind of playing a game of chess, maybe checkers, however you want to say it there. McLean County, you have a watch. You're not in a threat. You're actually under the watch still, just in case the National Weather Service needs to make a pivot and add Champaign and Vermilion. And I kind of think we're not going to worry about that at this point, Kevin. Those storms tend to me.
Look at that little blip.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be just north of Hoopeston, by a little bit here, kind of similar to what the first storm is. They seem to be following in like railroad tracks behind each other, but still got Iroquois County and even Ford County. I think we can give all clear to Ford County from any severe weather at this point, minus some lingering flooding that might be ongoing there. So that's kind of where things are transitioning and heading in that direction here. The other thing is they're continuing to expect some flash flooding with, there's hourly rainfall rates, 2 to 3 inches an hour. And, the Weather Prediction Center is saying, yeah, we may get some additional flash flooding, 3 to 5 inch rainfall total is possible in a few isolated spots. Again, looking at, and I'll just pick the 6-hour one. I don't think it's going to be as high depth, but you can see storms came out of there from up by Rochelle through LaSalle County and then down to the south and east, far northern Livingston, northern Ford, northern Iroquois County. And that's that just a sliver of our area. We thought these storms, guidance was pretty horrible, wasn't it, Kevin, leading up to this event?
Oh, yeah.
It really struggles in these northwest flows.
They don't do well.
To kind of think, hey, we're going to get storms late. Well, thankfully, kind of, at least I guess we know a little bit what we're talking about for
Yeah,
better terms there. But getting some of these late storms, usually that plays in your favor to keep the severe weather threat low. Obviously, we still have had some power outages and some damage out there, but just kind of looking up in eastern Illini and Ameren, having some issues. And I think, well, Cook County still has about. I don't think Cook County's got Commonwealth. I'll have to double check, but Ameren's got some outages. Eastern Illini has some outages. And so there are some power outages out there. It looks like Eastern Illini is going to be most of the Fort Iroquois outages. But
yeah, and like you said, I think people obviously get stuck on it's nighttime, the storms, will weaken. Well, not when it's 78 degrees with a 75-degree dew point at 2 o'clock in the morning. You can still get severe weather. I mean, it is, that's a thing. And I actually think that the next couple of, days, nights may have a better chance of us being in line, because the boundary kind of shifts just a little bit south. And I think we may have more of these little complexes to develop where it just can wring out the atmosphere with all that moisture that's in there.
Any reports from Watseka at all, Kevin?
The reports that I were getting were that power was out in the northeast side of town. Well, let's just ask. Watseka, does anybody have any trees down, power lines, power still out? Somebody here said, I'm out in the country and I'm out.
I think the EMA up there is pretty active, and they've not got anything in Slack. They usually would say something if they've had.
Sure. So we had that first little wave come through. Now the secondary one, nothing is showing signs of rotation anymore, and actually hopefully in a weakening trend. Again, here's your wide view. It's just kind of funny to look at it and go, oh, okay, this is only an Iroquois County problem right now. And just the orientation of this may even just barely miss northern Vermilion County. We'll see there. Hoopeston, you might get clipped by that secondary one if that kind of dives a little bit south and east. But Milford, you're probably going to get this second little storm as it slides your direction. Last 30 minutes, you can see kind of the movement there. Southeast side of Watseka has power.
It does look like, though, from velocity that the wind came down pretty quickly there.
Yes, I think it kind of
from
collapsed.
135 to 145.
Yeah, it collapsed.
Watseka
right
on
there.
Route 1 there.
Yeah. Not seeing as strong winds as we did earlier in what's going through Woodworth and Watseka right now. It does look weaker than that first storm. So hopefully winding things down here with you folks. 2:20 in the morning almost. Okay, so it seems like maybe pretty isolated in terms of any power outages here or there in Watseka. But it does look, I mean, I'd be curious about Woodland, because that area kind of collapsed between Watseka and Woodland where the winds were. And yeah, it's picking back up in Watseka, but it doesn't look to be as strong as when that first wave came through, but definitely some heavy rainfall in there in Crescent City again. And I'm sure when this goes through, that updated rain map is going to show even more rain, probably a couple of inches of rain that probably fell because that second storm is dumping rain there too.
Looks like Ameren has a sporadic outages from Iroquois to Sheldon to Watseka, but Eastern Illini's got the largest number up there, and most of them seem to be along and north of 24. So that may be no outage information. That may be substation related or a single transmission line down that's taken that chunk of the area out. And then they've got, looks like, is that Cabery? No, east of Cullum. And then northeast of Ashcombe, some spotty outages, but nothing. Sometimes we look at these storms, Kev, when they come on through, and if we have 2,000 people out, they got some big wind up there, but maybe it was a little more sporadic than that. And our radar signature also fairly high up there, so we don't necessarily get the closest view on what's in the ground. Sometimes those outages can reveal more on what's going on. So that's the look at those. And then quite a bit of outage reports up in LaSalle County, Ottawa, Marseilles. And I guess to get to the Streeter area, I guess that is Commonwealth that's in Streeter. Let me peek at their map real quick, because National Weather Service says there was a tornado north of Streeter.
Yeah, that did look pretty good. All right, let's see here. Let me read this. A little between Crescent City and Watseka, first round, which came through. There was lots of lightning, rain, some hail, and wind. We're now on our second wave. Still have power. Great report, Shanda. Definite weakening trend. Storms looking a lot less intimidating, and then they did.
I just had to come in. That's all.
You did have to come in. Yes, I appreciate you doing that.
I thought about it. I was like, they kind of look like they're weakening. I'll come in at 2 a.m. So Kevin's not saying
exactly. Oh goodness. Yeah, a lot of lightning. I think that's the biggest thing. Now, the lightning is just crazy. That's 3-minute lightning strikes. Here's 15-minute lightning strikes. Jeez. 15 minutes, 10 minutes, 5, and 3.
Well, how was your weekend? This is when we talk about whatever, right?
This is when we talk about whatever. Yeah. Oh boy, that better be a cancellation of watches. That's what I'm hoping for. Oh, I believe that would be accurate.
Say again?
I think there's some watches canceled, potentially. No, maybe not.
I guess they canceled everyone north of us.
Oh, all the ones to the north. One little severe thunderstorm warning box left.
And I bet it was your phone went off for new warnings in Indiana, didn't it?
In Indiana, yeah, Lafayette and Fountain.
Getting close to your hometown?
No, it's north Attica though. That's up where you were.
Yeah, I was about to say I drove through some of those areas: West Lebanon, Attica.
Yeah,
I was up in Judyville.
That's right. Yeah, you were over here.
Does Judyville pop up in the map? There's Judyville, west of the Indiana Carbondale.
So, folks, here when we look at this, we just don't have the same kind of intensity in terms of the winds go. We don't have the rotation like we had earlier. What we do have are two things: extremely heavy rainfall moving over already, areas that got hit hard, and then all of the lightning. And I literally think that is probably the extent. 40-mile-an-hour winds, heavy rainfall, and lightning is about all that's left. Well, what are the models saying for
Just rolling through some of the new guidance
later
now.
today?
Some ones have storms back by noon, but it doesn't look overly impressive. Others of it waits till tonight, kind of same area, and then after 2 a.m. Does this make so does this make 9 months in a row that we've had tornadoes or tornado warnings?
March to
Well, we had late December and January and February as well. All had tornado events. If you can think back that late, I don't know.
Did we have anything in February?
We did, because you were down south of Effingham on the edge of the viewing area. You were in Edgewood, and
Was that in February?
that was in February.
No.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Of course, March and April, that was a mess. And then May, I don't remember if we actually had a tornado warning, but we did have one brief EF0 in Ford County. Then June,
yeah, it might be 9 months.
July, and August.
Tornado warning. If we can get a tornado warning in every month of the year, that would be insane. It's possible, because I would say July and August would be the two least likely for tornadoes, right? I mean, I don't know. You just think that would be more severe thunderstorm warning stuff. But you can get things, maybe September.
Yeah, I'm thinking September. Let me see if I got a graphic I can pull
probably
up.
pretty calm. But then you get that secondary severe weather season, October, November, December.
Let's talk about maybe job security. I remember where I buried these things here.
I would be lying to you if I said that I was not exhausted.
All right, here's the, and this is data. This only goes until, wrong one there. This only goes to 2017, so it's missing
interesting
8 years, but kind of shows you the trend there, where August actually does have a little bit of an uptick, and then things tend to quiet down. But I know in recent years we'd be adding some numbers to, since 2017, we'd be adding numbers to November, December, January, February, a little bit there. Not enough to like scoot them high, but kind of interesting to peek at.
Yeah.
And it seems like, too, I'll be real curious, Kevin, when this super El Nino settles on in.
Super El Nino.
Kind of wonder, do we just hit a full stop at some point and just suddenly there's nothing and
shut off the faucet?
Yeah, drought turns back in 6 weeks. Do things kind of head that way? I'm not sure. The other graphic I'll show you is time of day for tornadoes. So here we are, midnight to 2 a.m. and pretty climatologically the lowest time of day there. Yeah. We've had our fair events, but usually this correlates with the instability. So your afternoon heating of the day, you time things out. That's when you get the most severe weather. But tornadoes have been recorded every hour of the day since 1984. And this data goes back to kind of in that morning lull there. And I think our number was up to 191. We're probably sitting at 195
Yeah.
for the state,
Yeah.
at least.
There
two,
were
three,
2 or
four.
3 today.
3 or
for
4.
Sure. Yeah.
You got LaSalle County. You got probably up in Lee County. Then you have the 2 from NWS, Kewaunee, and
I think Streeter might have had
near
something up
Peoria.
that way.
Say again?
That Streeter storm looked pretty good.
Yeah, yeah. Yes, it's a. I literally remember waking up and going, "Oh, hope Kevin's still there."
Yep.
So-
Yep. Okay, folks. Winding down coverage here for air. We're still watching the storms here, but going to be wrapping this up here real soon.
Yeah, they'll be out of here in 15 minutes. Milford getting back some heavy rain and thunder.
Yeah,
But-
Milford, you're actually you're getting
West of
pretty
49's good.
Yeah, you're good. Crescent City, Woodworth, Nargan, Gilman, and Ashcombe still got. Look at those flash flood warnings. All that heavy rain. Where's that rain graphic? You got the 24-hour rain.
Oh yeah. Pull that up here. I'll put the storm total on. I was just looking. Looks like Cheneyville, just the edge of it, catching there. But there's this storm total rainfall. I'm guessing Chicago. I'm trying to remember. They get stuff this afternoon, was
Oh.
it?
Gosh,
Or was it this evening? You know, they had that squall line.
they had some stuff
Or
earlier.
this morning, I think it was.
Yeah, earlier.
Because at one point I was like, "Oh, I might have to be here Sunday
Yeah.
morning." Didn't
Yeah.
know. But largely this swath here from up by Amboy, Ashton, Rochelle, south and east there is in the last 6 hours. And then you can kind of make out the individual little swaths where there's a little bit of rain from some of those other storms. And some of the circulations tonight just look, I don't want to say bogus, but like
Yeah,
you look at them, you go, "What
false
is going on
advertising.
here?" Right?
false
Just optimal
advertising.
wind shear and
Yeah, almost too much.
yeah.
It's like kind of shearing itself out.
The deviant motion just stood out to me tonight as something that was pretty interesting. Southeast moving storms and those tornadoes were pulling back to the north and east at some point. So I'm gonna take it back here. I'm gonna see 6 hours ago. What time is things? 9 a.m. or 9 p.m.
Yeah,
So there you can see the progression of those storms. It was interesting. I remember about 9:30 seeing those warnings by the Peoria area, and I was like, I better go to bed.
I better go to bed.
Like, but there's diving clusters there, and Storm Prediction Center said they didn't think they would have to extend that severe thunderstorm watch into Indiana, but the environment's still pretty unstable over there. I was looking at the mesoanalysis as well, so they're talking about Lafayette and heading probably towards the Indianapolis north side up there, trying to get it on things a little bit more. So kind of watching those clusters move out of our area, thankfully. And we'll pop on storm reports as well here. Kind of give a little view. These are missing some. So we know National Weather Service did say there was a tornado north of Streeter, and that would have been between Streeter and Grand Ridge up here. So that's not there. And some of these other reports that'll slowly sneak in across Livingston, Fort, and Iroquois County. Of course, they'll add the storm reports after, but just a little bit of damage up that way and some power outages and things of that. And then I don't know what these wind icons are. Let's see if they've got any info on them. Odell had a 52-mile-an-hour gust, and looks like up by Clifton had a 59-mile-an-hour gust at 2 a.m. So there's some confirmation
There you go.
of some wind from that one there. But yeah, probably 15 minutes from being done, Kevin, would you say?
Yeah, definitely. It looks like Hoopston did get just barely clipped there by that kind of southern edge there. But again, this storm weakening. I know you're saying, well, it's not that weak. It's lightning like crazy. Yeah, there's a lot of lightning here. but we don't have the same wind components embedded in here as we did an hour ago. It's doing pretty good over near Fowler and Oxford, Boswell. That's in Benton County, Indiana. But here in Iroquois County, this is just a general, good old-fashioned, strong, electrified thunderstorm, dumping heavy rainfall and bringing a lot of lightning. Don't see the wind damage characteristics and components with this, nor do we see any kind of a tornadic component with our Iroquois County storm.
Seems like we still have a fair number of people that are on as well.
All right, folks. So we'll just we'll be back with you here in just a second, and we'll pop back on here before we close things out. But we're going to shut the audio off for a second, and then we'll be back with you here in just a few. Check, check, check. 1, 2, 3. Wake up if you're still sitting there.
Wake up.
Yeah. Storm's ending here, moving east of Milford, of Hoopeston, of Wellington. Stockland, you're kind of the last one there. Still getting a little storm, but Prairie Green. But you're okay as the storms move out. And so
Yeah, they call that area Prairie Welling Linford or something like that.
yeah,
The 4 towns in southeastern Iroquois County there.
Yep.
And no warning coming for Vermilion either. Indivis Lincoln said, it's going to stay mainly out. But again, you kind of look at the watch coverage. Livingston's out, but Ford is still in, Iroquois is still in, and McLean is still in. And that strategy was in case they needed to expand it. But Ford and McLean County, you're done with the threat for tonight. In Vermilion County, you're clear, but storms, Hoopeston, that far northeast sliver there. Maybe Bismarck gets grazed. Alvin, Bismarck up there. Rossville, getting a little rain. But that's it.
Yep, we'll wrap up coverage here, folks. Probably be back with you at some point over the next few days. So if you found us before, you can find us again on these same channels. And that'll wrap things up here for tonight, folks. Thanks for joining us here on the live stream as we brought you that severe weather coverage. And guess we'll see you again here before too long. So
maybe at the same time.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. I'm going
Unless
home.
you let me go drive again the Storm Tracker. You can do the morning show then.
Oh, man. I'm delusional right now. I don't even know what day it is, where I'm at, who I am.
It's Tuesday.
Oh, okay. Is it? It feels like it. All right, folks. We'll see you later. Have a good one, and we'll catch you on the next one.